reporting to you live from Hong Kong. I'm Carl Bolingbrook.
And I'm Shin Hai Ling. Tonight we will be showing you a variety of all the hottest, most recent news in your neck of the woods. We know you're all having concerns about the coronavirus, which we will get to later, but for now, here's our consultant Christian Walker with some news on the imprisoning of the Muslim Uyghurs.
According to BBC, the Chinese government has detained over 1 million Muslims in re-education camps in Xinjiang, officially called vocational education and training centers. The detainees are primarily Uyghurs, but some are Kazakhs and Uzbeks, and almost all of them were detained without a trial. The government claims that the hundreds of camps are only used for educational and totally voluntary. Documents that have been leaked in the last several months, however, have proven otherwise. Detainees are abused and forced to denounce Islam and the Quran. A recently leaked 2017 memo specifically states to never allow escapes, promote repentance and confession, and make remedial Mandarin studies the top priority. Every minute of every day is controlled and observed by a mass surveillance system in the facilities, ensuring detainees maintain good behavior and, for example, stand in the correct positions in lines. In classes, detainees are brainwashed to believe that their beliefs and languages are wrong. They are rewarded for compliance and strongly disciplined for disobedience. Other leaked documents explicitly encourage the tracking down and arrest of Uyghurs with foreign citizenship and Uyghurs living abroad.
Thanks, Christian. I don't know about you, Yang, but that's some pretty brutal stuff.
You're right, Carl. Looking pretty grim.
Yeah. But anyway, now here's Natalia Reyes with information on the upcoming Tibetan Uprising Day. We have an exclusive of General Secretary Xi Jinping giving an address to the people taking place in this event.
And now, live from Beijing, President Xi Jinping gives a speech on the upcoming Tibetan Uprising Day, which is celebrated on March 10th to commemorate the 1959 Tibetan Uprising. Tens of thousands of people living in the Tibet Autonomous Region gave their lives to allow the Dalai Lama to escape from the invading Chinese army.
To those who so wrongly choose to celebrate and protest on the anniversary of the Tibetan uprising in Xinjiang, the People's Armed Police will come and will end what you choose to start. To those journalists who wrongly choose to praise and support the Tibetans by discussing their independence movement, I guarantee you that the Communist Party will never let your stories out.
Thanks, Natalia. And now here's some news on the Hong Kong protests.
The recent proposal of a bill aiming to relocate the judiciary branch outside of Hong Kong has sparked mass protests throughout the city. For a deeper look at this, here's reporter Zach Mulsdale live in the field.
Hi, I'm here in the field, the Hong Kong protester. Sir, what is your name?
My name is Shi Baoming.
And why are you here today?
I'm actually here to protest the movement of the judiciary branch outside of Hong Kong because, honestly, like Hong Kong's a pretty chill place, and I feel like we're pretty fair and open here. And I just think that if they move these courts outside of Hong Kong into like the middle of these random country areas, that the government's got ears everywhere, man. They're just. It's gonna be bad, dude. Like, nothing's getting done. It's gonna be so unfair. I just don't agree with it. So keep them in Hong Kong, man. That's just all I gotta say. Word out.
Let's just see if we can talk to them in the heat of the moment.
Protest on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! 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 Sit down.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you, what's your name?
I'd rather not say.
All right, well, seems shady. Why are you here?
I believe it is extremely unjust that our mental health participants in voting are not allowed to vote, and neither are our great soldiers in the military.
Hello, sir. What is your name?
My name's Don Johnston.
All right, and what brings you on these parts?
Well, I'm just here because it has been so unfair. I mean, they have been calling these beautiful protests with these beautiful people. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Beautiful.
They've just been labeling them as riots, okay? And these people, they're out here with their hearts. They are protesting for the greatest reasons, okay? They just want the best for the country. There's no riots here. Look at these people. They're beautiful.
Peaceful.
Look at this fella right here. And also, I'd just like to say that they need to stop imprisoning people from these protests because they locked up my brother and my uncle. They do happen to be the same person, but yeah, it's been very unfair. It's been a hard time living without Jimmy Bob, and just let him go. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Now, these beliefs are widely shared amongst all Chinese people. But I think it's starting to get a little bit out of hand. Probably gonna have to cut this segment a little bit short.
Somebody call the
Hello. Several weeks ago, we were out here in Hong Kong covering the protests that were running rampant in the streets. But as you can see, there's nobody out here now. The coronavirus has been ravaging the streets of Hong Kong. Oh, shoot. Hey, get back. Back. All right. As I was saying, the coronavirus has been ravaging the streets of Hong Kong, and protesters have decided to go inside and take a break.
Whoa. Crazy stuff. Just like you last night, Ming.
Girl, I said we weren't going to talk about that on air.
Alright. Well, anyway, let's go up to the controversy regarding Huawei's recent proposal of the 5G network.
Multinational technology company Huawei Technologies has initially focused on manufacturing phone switches, but has now expanded its business to include building telecommunications networks, provide operational and consulting services to enterprises inside and outside of China, and manufacture communications devices for the consumer market. Although successful internationally, Huawei has faced difficulties in some markets due to claims of undue state support and cybersecurity concerns, primarily from the United States government, that Huawei's infrastructure equipment may enable surveillance by the Chinese government. With the development of the 5G wireless networks, there have been calls from the US to prevent the use of products by Huawei by the US and its allies. Huawei has argued that its products pose no greater cybersecurity risk than those of any other vendor, and that there is no evidence of the US espionage claims. Nonetheless, Huawei has pulled out of the US consumer market. In the midst of the ongoing trade and technology tensions between China and the United States, Huawei has cut 600 jobs at its Santa Clara Research Center in June 2019, and in December 2019, founder Ren Zhengfei said he was moving the center to Canada because the restrictions would block them from interacting with US employees. The UK government, on the other hand, says it will allow telecom giant Huawei a limited role in building its new 5G data network, despite US pressure to cut the Chinese company out of development plans.
Now back to our consultant Christian Walker covering some of the impacts on consumer markets with the coronavirus.
As the number of coronavirus cases grow in China, so does the fear. People like this young lady are frolicking through the markets in search of food and medical supplies. With more information, we're going to go out to the field now live with reporter Mike Fulton. Take it away, Mike.
Thank you, Christian. We are reporting live from Wuhan, China, where we've somehow managed to find one of the only stores with food actually in stock. We've scavenged, I can't tell you how many stores, and all we've managed to find is herb and garlic tuna and mini cherry snack piles. It's like this across the entire city and most of northern China.
Thanks, Christian.
Now to Natalia Reyes covering the controversial government censorship of new coronavirus cases.
Alrighty, with some more news on the coronavirus, a report by the Citizen Lab at the University of Toronto's Munk School has found that the Chinese social media censors blocked neutral information about the coronavirus outbreak. The report said on December 31st that YY, a Chinese live streaming platform, added 45 keywords or combinations referencing the virus to its blacklist, including unknown Wuhan pneumonia, Wuhan seafood market, SARS variation, and Wuhan Health Committee. On WeChat, 132 words and word combinations were added to the list in January, and an additional 516 were added in the first 15 days of February.
You alright, Jay?
Yeah, Carl. Doing great. Now here's Jason covering some information on how the social credit system is being used to blacklist some individuals in China.
In February, Shanghai authorities announced that hiding your history with the coronavirus will put you on the social credit system's blacklist. Over the past decade, China has been implementing a Black Mirror-esque social credit system that evaluates an individual's reputation by giving them a numerical score. The actual system varies by region, but they are all fundamentally the same, and all use China's mass surveillance system to enforce its policies. If you have a low enough score, the government will deem you untrustworthy, and you may be banned from using high-speed rail, your kids may be banned from attending private schools or universities, and your image may be displayed and denounced publicly. Millions of people have been blacklisted as a result of the Communist Party's surveillance over their actions. The number of violations that get an individual blacklisted are constantly increasing. Now, when an individual lies about their travels to Wuhan or their interactions with the coronavirus, they get blacklisted. So be careful and don't lie to the government.
It's really scary living in China nowadays. I've already done a lot of things that would lower my social credit score. I've littered, I've driven with loud music with my windows open, cheated in video games, and oh shoot, I'm late for my Chinese takeout.
Thanks, Jason. Now to the postponing of the People's Congress with Hannah.
Chinese government officials have officially announced that they will be postponing the most important political meeting of the year by the National People's Congress due to the outbreak of the new virus. The decision indicates the importance that President Xi Jinping places on the battle against the new virus, which recently recorded has killed more than 2,500 people and sickened more than 77,000 in the mainland of China. The outbreak has posed one of the biggest political challenges to Xi's administration since he took control of the ruling Communist Party in 2012. The annual meetings of the National People's Congress and its chief advisory body usually begin about March 5th, but we are yet to know the new dates of when this meeting will take place in the future.
Thanks, Hannah. That's some good stuff.
And now for some updates on the ongoing China-United States trade disputes. Go ahead.
Thanks, guys. The U.S.-China trade deal has been signed by President Donald Trump and China's Vice Premier Liu He. The United States will still be maintaining 25% duties on roughly $250 billion worth of Chinese goods used mainly by manufacturers to make finished products in the United States. It will also lower a 15% tariff on $120 billion worth of consumer goods to 7.5%. These duties are paid by consumers and businesses and have added billions of dollars in costs. China will also keep retaliatory duties of 5 to 25% that it slapped on roughly $110 billion worth of U.S. products it imports from the U.S., a move that's harming American exporters. But China will issue tariff exclusions for specific goods it has agreed to purchase as part of the deal, U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer told reporters. China will also have to buy a lot more from the U.S., and fast. Over 2020 to 2021, China will buy at least $200 billion more in U.S. products and services than it did in 2017. Back to you guys.
Now, I don't know much about economics, just like you don't know much about what happened last night, right, Ling?
Carl, I'm losing my patience with you.
Well, anyway, on the subject of economics, here's some information on the recent decrease in stocks.
China's benchmark stock index plunged as much as 9.1% on Monday, its worst opening in almost 13 years, as investors took cover from the fast-spreading Wuhan coronavirus. The biggest fallers included consumer, transportation, and financial stocks such as Tsingtao Brewery, China Eastern Airlines, and CITIC Securities.
That's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Chinese.
Stay safe, folks. Wash your hands. Keep your distance. We'll probably not be on air for several days. I'm not feeling too good. How about you, Carl?
No, me neither, Chai. I feel like I've just been pooped out of the devil's anus, I'll be honest with you.
I'm Shin Hiling.
And I'm Carl Bolingbrook.
And this has been Chai News. Thank you. Good night. Let's do a chest bump. Let's do a chest bump. Yeah! Yeah!
Accurate portrayal. We should be running around each other in a circle.
We gotta spread out. Okay, when you're ready, Zach.
How do I stop it?
You hit them.
No, that sounded so bad.
These great, beautiful people, they are out here. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this fella over here. I mean, they are just out here for the good reasons.
Our show will be off the air for the next several days while we're in our quarantine period. I'm not feeling too good. How about you, Charles?
星号对于那些错误的选择庆祝和抗议西藏藏区起义周年的人们，人民武装警察。
Okay, you idiots need to start.
We are starting.
Are you gonna count us down or not?
I started it right now.
I'm
Okay.
I can cut it out.
Do you not?
All right. Let's try and go talk.
I'm starting it now.
So now?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do that again.
I think we're getting pretty sick here.
Holy hell.
Oh, I didn't get to put on the mask. We gotta say more.
Hello, sir. And okay, hold on.
I ain't feeling too great. How about you, Carl?
No, not me.
Anyway.
There are no protesters in the streets. This really sucks to talk in this. You gotta get me.
Right. I got you.
Oh, okay.
No, wait, maybe not.
Did I hit in your face? No.
Should we get one more try?
This is painful to watch.